Good morning and welcome as we continue our daily devotions, learning some life lessons from the life of Moses. Today's life lesson is on waiting, and there's two passages I want to focus on today. The first is from Genesis chapter 15. It comes in the form of a prophecy that God had given to Abram, the heads up warning about these 400 years in slavery. And the second is from Exodus. So this first from Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. Then the Lord said to Abram, "Know for certain that your offspring will be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and they will be servants there, and they will be afflicted for 400 years. But I will bring judgment on the nation that they serve, and afterward they shall come out with great possessions. As for you, you shall go to your fathers in peace and shall be buried in a good old age, and they shall come back here in the fourth generation, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete." And then from Exodus chapter 2, verses 23 and 25. So during these many days, while Moses was in exile, the king of Egypt died, and the people of Israel groaned because of their slavery. And they cried out for help. Their cry for rescue from slavery came up to God, and God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abram, Isaac, and with Jacob. God saw the people of Israel, and God knew. There's this quote from Alex Haley of Roots. He says, "God doesn't always operate on our time frame, but he's always on time." I don't know about you, but I can relate with the frustration of waiting. Waiting is not something I do well, which is a shame because after nearly 40 years of life on this planet, waiting is a natural part, an ordinary part of life. We wait for everything. As we grow up, we wait for our birthdays and for holidays with great anticipation. We wait for those milestones, when we can get our driver's license and when we can get married and all the rest. We wait in line at the grocery store. The people of Israel, they also understood the frustration that can come with waiting. They waited in exile in Egypt for 400 years. 400 years that they were in slavery in Egypt. Entire generations passed as they waited for that promise of God to be fulfilled, of rescue and deliverance. Put it in perspective, that's longer than the United States has been around as a country. And who does God finally choose when he hears their cry for mercy and he sends someone to them? He chooses, of all people, Moses, a murderer, one who spent 40 years in the wilderness as a shepherd. Not exactly the prerequisites that I would be looking for if I were to select the leader of Israel at this time in this moment. But God had not forgotten his people, and God didn't forget Moses. He was right on time. See, if you're walking through a wilderness season in your life, if you're find yourself waiting on something, it's easy to feel forgotten by God. You might wonder, what's the point of it all? But we see in the life of Moses that God does not forget, get distracted, or ignore us. Just like God remembered his promises to Israel, God remembers you. He has not and will not forget you. At just the right time, God sent Moses for the deliverance of Israel. And at just the right time, God sent his son, his only son, Jesus, into this world for your deliverance. So remember this, God's timing might not be our timing, but God is always on time. Have a great day.